because our elected officials here in Massachusetts are holding a hearing this morning on a bill that would create the 4-day work week here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Wow.
There is legislation in New York and California and in front of the U.S. Congress currently that proposes that anybody who works more than 32 hours a week in this country should be paid overtime. Here in Massachusetts, they are considering the 4-day work week, and businesses who comply would get a tax credit. This is Boston College sociology professor Juliet Shore, who is going to testify this morning in favor of the 4-day work week here in Massachusetts.
We've shown that a 32-hour, 4-day week works not just for employees, as you might expect, but also for employers. They report that people are, if not as productive, often more productive than on a 5-day schedule.
Sure. Let's do it.
Well,
let's legislate the human behavior and tell people that working less, you can accomplish more. Okay. Hasn't happened since the dawn of time, but go ahead. Let's give it a try.
Well, times are changing, and I think this pilot program, if it were to go through, at the end of the pilot program, they're going to have stats to look back on to see if economically it is good for the business and how the work-life balance is for its employees. Obviously, we know all the employees are going to love it, but when it comes to the actual business model, will it actually be beneficial? You can't deny it if the stats are backing it.
Don't most people work 4 days now anyways? You come in, go in any place on a Friday, it looks like a ghost
there
town.
are a lot of people who put 5, 6, 7 days in a week, and they actually want to be successful. That's why they do it. So I get every time I bring this up, people go, well, you only work 4 hours a day. I don't only work 4 hours a day. All of us here work
a 24-hour job.
We work lots of hours. We do lots of things. But it's not about me. It's about you.
I don't know if it's irony, but the people voting on this don't work. Our legislature works like 15 days a year. And they're voting on how many hours other people work. I feel like they're the least qualified people on the planet to vote on this.
I would do 4 days. Only question is, excuse me, does how much money I make change?
It would not change under this
All
program.
right. So sign me up for 4 days.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
I enjoy my work schedule. I'm fine with working 5 days a week. But I think that when you look at different types of industries, there are ways in which you could get more out of your workers if you move to a 4-day work week strategy.
You just don't.
Because there are certain jobs.
How are people working less hours in a week going to be more productive?
Because I think we all think these people are hard at work for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. But there are certain industries that I have friends that say, I clock in, I clock out. A majority of that day, I'm twiddling my thumbs.
Okay, so are those people not going to be twiddling their thumbs during the other 4 days?
No.
If they're thumb twiddlers, they're thumb twiddlers.
No, because they're getting their work out of the way, and then once the day is over, and if it's only 4 days, then they get to enjoy the rest of their time.
But I'm kind of with you on this, Greg. I mean, I'm confused on how it works because if you're twiddling your thumbs for these hours, and you only got 4 days, you're still going to be twiddling, right?
No, because you have one less day to get all your work done.
Or how about here's the solution: just make every job salaried, and that way, when you're done with your job, you're done with your job. Whether it takes you 30 hours in a week or 60, you just have to do your damn job. And when you're done, and you get paid the same amount.
Well, this will shock you. There are actually some people who do more than just the job is required. They actually look around, try to do things, and try to excel in their position so as to maybe advance.
Yeah, but they do that.
I don't think people understand that the way it works is you're in the workplace, the boss sees you, the boss is walking out at the end of the night, he's shutting the lights off, and you go, hold on a second, Mr. Jones, I'm still working over here. Leave the lights on. And the guy gives you a promotion. That's how it's worked since the dawn of time.
Does it still work like that though?
Yes,
Not
it
really.
does. It does still work.
Greg, I think you're living in the early 80s for
They
that.
take
one.
advantage
Here we
of a
go.
lot of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like, you want to, how do you elevate? What's your last name? Oh, okay. You elevate. You stay there. You work extra hours and you get paid the same
See,
salary.
this person said 207 texter from my adopted home continent of Maine, so I love them anyway. I don't care if we disagree. Greg is a big work harder, not smarter guy. I don't buy that argument either. Like I work harder, not smarter. No, you could be doing more. If you get your stuff done in 4 days, then step up and do some other stuff the other day.
I
But
just
why
think
would
that
there's
it's
There's always things that have to be done.
it's changed though from when you jumped into the working industry to what it is now, because I did that for years and years and years. Not work smarter, not harder. I was working harder. If I finished a task, I was asking what I could do now. I was
Right.
doing things that were outside of my job. It never got me anywhere.
See,
it
that's
did.
the
It got you
difference.
right here.
No,
I know,
That's what you don't understand.
for that
You
actual,
don't understand.
but
It
for
got you
that
here.
actual company,
Right,
because
that's
you
the
say
point.
you say
That's
all
the
the
point of
time
it.
that it'll make you go up in a company.
No, it'll
it
make
never
you
works.
advance. It'll make you advance somewhere
But
else,
I'm-
Courtney. That's how you
yes,
got yourself
No,
here.
that
Greg,
didn't
but
get-
but
I
you had
don't
no, you didn't
understand.
know what I was
I know
doing
what you're
day
talking
in
about,
day out
Courtney.
at that specific company. That specific company
Preach.
just used me over and
Preach.
over again
No.
to do all these
Preach.
different jobs and not go
Hallelujah.
up in the
No.
business or in pay.
Courtney's
That's what's
right.
going on right now.
Stop it, Greg.
That's the
Stop
issue
that.
a lot of people have.
What Courtney was doing, busting her ass, working 12 hours a day, didn't get her here. Stop
Of
that.
course it did.
No, it didn't.
What got her here?
It got her, and she probably had a connection with got her here. That's probably how.
Well,
it
no,
worked.
that wasn't it either. I think Greg enjoyed what I do. All these, and I love the Twitchers, but sometimes they really piss me off.
Well-
All these people being like, Courtney doesn't work. I worked all through college. I worked in high school. I worked my ass off out of college. Yes, that's how I got here. I'm talking about one workplace in specific where you could work your ass off, you could take on other responsibilities, and it doesn't advance you in that company
Right.
or in pay.
Courtney, so I understand what you're saying, and the logic of it is sound, that the people that you provided this blood, sweat, and tears for took advantage of it, right?
That's
Yes.
what most people
Okay,
do.
right. I totally hear you. But I just have one single moment. It'll sound silly and trite, but it's not. We were at the Numbnuts Invitational this year. We were on the golf course. We were on the first tee. It was kind of a weird weather day. We've been all over the place. And Courtney is getting each foursome aligned with me on the tee box, taking photos, sending it to me. And Greg hops in the cart with me later that day, and he says, this is why I brought her here. These types of things, where it's not your job description, it wasn't in any way expected of you that day, but it was something that was just inherent in how you've trained yourself, that you went out of your way to go above and beyond to make that day memorable for the people that bought the tickets and for our social medias to get people who were unable to join us the feeling like they were experiencing it with us. That is a very small example of things that you trained yourself to do over a period of time while working elsewhere that paid rewards or paid off and benefited you when you were with Greg and is part of the reason you are here. So yes, you can't draw a straight linear line from one to the other. It's just there, and Greg saw it because Greg's also that
But that's
way.
Courtney, though. Most people, and she's right, most people are not going the extra mile when they know it's not benefiting them.
No, you go. This is the argument. You go the extra mile because it eventually is going to benefit you. You don't get paid for the extra mile the moment you say you're going to do it.
But it doesn't
And sucks.
eventually
I get
pay-
it. It
be-
sucks, but
benefit
that's
you.
the way it does.
No, it doesn't. Stop
it
it,
does.
Greg. We don't live in a society
Can I
like
give
that
Can
no
I give
more.
one example?
Go ahead, Courtney.
There was one year at a specific company where I worked my ass off. Any job that people did not want to do, I was taking on. I was a yes man, yes woman,
Yep.
yes woman, yes woman, yes woman. It came time for my yearly review.
Yep.
And they sat me down and they said, "Yep, okay, great. You got well over, the A+ mark for all areas of your job. You're going to get a 2% raise." The range was
And a coffee mug.
between no raise
Right.
and like a 7% raise. I said, well, I'm getting all of these A+ marks. Why am I only at 2%? They said, I don't know. So I said, well, I'm not going to sign off on this. And I'm not saying immediately. I'm saying years of me doing a certain thing over and over again.
You're only 30. What are you, 32?
32. I'm saying I was at a company for 5 years. That's not a short stint at any company.
Shine has you beat. He's been here for 6 years in radio.
7.
Courtney, you're
I
right.
have done every job.
I mean, and I get it. People are going to say I'm a spoiled brat. I don't
don't
care.
worry about
I
it.
worked my ass off. I know I did. I don't give an F if you guys think that think otherwise.
I just want you to understand that what you did during that time at Nesson that they took advantage of has got you to where you are today. That's how you do it.
And I'm so grateful.
I feel so like we're just removing any kind of motivation and desire that people have to be successful by making it easier for them. The answer is not always, hey, we're going to cut off a day of work so that you can balance it out with your family and your life. Like, it's not the way, if you want that, go for it. Find a job that works. You only have to work 4 days a week. It's not the government's job to be mandating that you work 4 days
And
a
this
week.
is the other the private companies and the way the government has tried to so the intern and pay versus college credit program in radio. The only thing I got out of BC, really, was the ability to intern all 4 years of college at radio stations that would ultimately give me an opportunity for minimum wage when I graduated.
And beer pong. You were excellent at beer pong.
I dominated beer pong. Gin pong was actually my game. But now there's legislation that if you have an intern program, you have to pay them. So you know what happened? We stopped interns. So because I would have loved to have been paid for all those hours I did working for nothing, but it yielded an opportunity, and 25 years later, I got a livable wage.
Right, but the thing I think Courtney's saying is that out of all those people that intern and bust their ass and go the extra mile, 1% of them sees that gold carrot at the end of
because it's the 1% that works their asses off.
No, but there are multiple people that work it, and only 1% get it.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's
can
what
tell you that in my history with
I think that's what Courtney's
Okay,
saying.
hold on a second, though.
So
So
you're
I
not
should
gonna
be-
work. You're not gonna work me like a dog,
But-
and then not give me anything.
So I should be complaining because you're one of the 1% of the people who made it to the NFL, and I didn't?
No. But there are.
How's that
How's
fair? How's that fair,
There
Wiggy?
are hundreds of thousands of people who.
There are hundreds of thousands
You
of
didn't
kids.
bust your ass to try to get to the NFL.
There are 100. Busting your ass got you there?
No, but there are. My point is
there are hundreds of
but they're not-
thousands
listen.
of kids who play football all the way through college who
Yes.
never make it to the
And-
NFL.
and I understand
How
that.
do they make it?
There is only
Isn't
a small
that a
percentage.
How do they make
issue?
it?
That is a talent issue and a small percentage. What we do.
So you don't have to work hard. It's all talent.
No. You got to work hard. But what I'm saying, there are people that work their asses off and don't get the opportunity because they ain't big enough, they ain't fast enough, maybe because of other things. In the real world, where you can, if you bust your ass, you should be able to see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
But 80-90% of the people that bust their ass don't see it because nowadays, stop with the BS. It's the hard work. No, it's about who you know.
Oh, my God.
That is it. It's about who you know and how that person can help you
Well,
get
I
there.
also think it's about the managers in charge, the people in charge, right? Like you have to
Bingo.
have people that understand certain situations and want to see you grow.
But they got to
And-
know you and they got to have a
and not just
connection with
Wiggy,
you.
you being
Stop
on
it.
you being on this show is not about who you know.
Yes, if I didn't play in the NFL, I probably would have to go a longer road to be able to get to where I am. The NFL opened the door.
Being chosen to be full time on this show was about how hard you work and
Right.
how much desire you had to be
Right.
successful. That's what it was about.
Right,
It wasn't
but
about the fact that you played in the NFL.
No, but the NFL.
Then you got another job.
No, but the NFL.
There's 10 guys that played in the NFL
No.
who are available to do a radio
Right,
show.
but the NFL opened the door. If
Right,
I didn't
but
play
how'd
in
you get to the
but
NFL?
If I didn't play in the NFL, that door wouldn't have been opened.
But
I'd
Ricky,
be
you're
just
the-
like
Ricky,
I'd be
you're-
just like everybody else trying to bust my ass on Saturdays and Sundays, working every shift and possible holidays, and I mean I did that anyways. But the NFL opened that door, and me playing for the Patriots.
But Wiggy, you are the definition of a sort of a tweener with the NFL. You weren't drafted. You were picked up by a couple teams.
Right.
You worked hard for Parcells.
But I won a Super Bowl for the Patriots, a city I grew up in.
because you never quit.
Right.
And you didn't have the most speed.
I know
you didn't
that.
have the intangibles.
I know that, Curtis. But the point I'm trying to make, there are thousands of people like me.
But nobody was as reliable and as dependable in key spots for an organization and that's why you were there. It's because you were always ready to go when the time was called.
I know that, but I'm talking about Courtney's point and how much hard work people put in. But most of the time, a lot of people who put in hard work, they don't see the fruits of the labor because they don't have the connections or they don't know the right people.
I just think we have become a society that expects everything to be handed to us on a golden platter, and that doesn't bode well for the future. That's my humble opinion.
Well, I mean,
you don't
if you've
just
seen
show
the future
up.
now, like,
you don't
Greg,
show
it is
up.
what it is.
You don't show up and you get promoted. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it should work. You don't get tired of working 5 days a week and then the government says, okay, you only have to work 4.
Greg, you think people care? There are people out there now that are 25 years old and go out there, start a social media page and make $500,000 a year. They don't have to do all the other stuff.
Then
this is not 1950.
Does that bode well for the future?
With the future, it is what it is.
But I think the higher ups led us to this way. That's why Gen Zers, that's why some millennials don't want to put in that extra work because they've seen their coworkers who have been busting their ass for years and years. Yeah, you want to make fun of me that I've only been out of school for 10 years. That's fine. Workers that have been busting their ass for 30, 40, 50 years who have still not advanced.
Right.
Yeah,
and here's a watch for you.
I hate to break it to you. When nobody works at a regular job and there are no products and services available, social media is going to be meaningless because nobody's going to have the money to spend on the things that they think you're going to buy when some influencer talks about it. So if people are like going to give up on life and go, yeah, no, what's next? The 3-day work week. That's what comes next, right? Because that's better for work-life balance.
5-minute abs.
All right, we got to take a break. Anyway, hearing today,
great discussion.
Massachusetts about to get to the 4-day work week.
I'm all in.
Wiggy's in.
Hey, I'm all in.
He's in.